do 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 do. I won't stop now. Bop 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 bop. I won't quit. Bop 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 bop. How are you guys doing tonight? Can you guys hear me? Can anybody hear me? Hopefully the audio, the video's not on. Is it on now? I see it. I see it on my end. Hopefully you guys can see it on your end. Still no video? Come on, Boo Tube. It looks like it's on. Right on. Hello, we have video. Excellent. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining the Royal We Live. Happy Monday night to all of you out there, and thank you for being here with me on your Monday night. We're going to be talking about narcissistic abuse. In this particular video, we're going to be talking about Thanksgiving, because this is the week for Thanksgiving. I actually am titling this video on Thanksgiving, and you'll see why. Now, this is also going to be a precursor to a video that I'm going to try my best to get out this week. I better get it out. If not, if I don't get the video out there on the organic channel this week, then it defeats the purpose of having a video for Thanksgiving. I mean, I've got to get it out there, right? But the video is going to be dealing with just the perspective of Thanksgiving. The perspective of Thanksgiving coming out of narcissistic abuse, coming out of traumatic relationships. I'm not sure about all of you, but my whole world, as far as holidays, Thanksgiving, I'm not even going to talk about Christmas yet because that's still quite a ways out. But we're here at Thanksgiving now. But a lot of my views have just shifted, have changed. It's like narcissistic abuse has a way of completely sucking the joy and the out of holidays, out of Thanksgiving. It just takes the wind out of it, you know. Not only that, but it leaves you just questioning a lot of stuff about Thanksgiving, about holidays. What's it for? What's the purpose of it? I mean, is it really a time to be around people who you're really not thankful for because they're abusive? I mean, you really look back at certain families and people in your life and be like, man, I broke bread with that person, and for what? Because they wanted to show off their new pudding cake. You know what I mean? They made a new fruit salad. Other than that, they treat people like crap all of every day, all of their life. What exactly are we getting together for this one day called Thanksgiving? So this is what some of the I guess, existential crisis or just the moving on, the awakening that you have coming out of narcissistic abuse. It changes your life, changes your world, changes your view of Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about this right now. But before we get into that, copying format. Oh, sweet. Good. I love it when other people are doing the same kind of format. That's awesome. But I'm looking forward to this video. We're going to be talking about that, and we're going to get into it. Looks like everybody's coming in and signing on. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, everybody. Guys and gals. I got to get used to saying guys and gals because there's guys and gals. I remember I was put on blast one time because on one of my organic videos I said, guys, because I just have a habit of doing that. Hey, guys. It's just a part of the ADD or whatever. And people would leave comments and say, I'm not a guy and I'm watching. Blah. And I'm sorry. All right. Okay. All right. No biggie. But I'm so thankful that you are here. We're going to get into just the beginning portion of this video. Let me introduce you all to...
What are some land biomes?
We're not doing that again. Oh, no. We're going to go back. We're going to start the Royal We theme song one more time as I introduce the moderators and get into tonight's stuff. So this Royal We live stream is brought to you by Patreon. Thank you for all the Patreons. And I do need to get a list of all the Patreon members who are generously supporting the Royal We live. It's because of you that we do this every Monday night. So thank you for your patronage, your support. Thank you. The goal is to get to 300 Patreon members, at which point we will be going live every single night. That is a guarantee. We'll go live every single night, okay? And that's just a part of what the Royal We would like to do. Ultimately, that's part of the vision. Now then, the moderators for tonight: Taylor puts the dream in hashtag the dream team. Tanya gives the best virtual hugs on the internet. Blue is here to link you up. And D-Doll is queen of the one-liners. And I would not be able to really be as effective. Or really, I mean, this is the Mod Squad group. I'm just going to put this out there. And so thank you to the moderators. Be sure to give them your love tonight. They're here for you. And they're here to welcome you. They're here to talk to you, support you, share links with you, all kinds of good stuff. All right. With that, let's go ahead and get into one of the things I'm going to be talking about a couple of times tonight. And that is this. I have a very, very sad situation that some of you know about. If you watched, I'm going to do an epic fade out. Before we get into tonight's topic on narcissistic abuse, how it changes Thanksgiving, and what can be done about it, I want to share with you a very sad story. I was creating a video, and the creation of the video this past weekend, I was wrapping it up, and it's the last video I did talking about Facebook and getting off of Facebook. One of my dearest items that I use in the creative process is a drone. And if you watch the video, you will notice that halfway through the video, you witness the drone crash. And I have had this drone and have been sporadically implementing it and using it throughout the videos, getting more comfortable with flying it and using it and getting great shots and trying to really implement it as part of what the Royal We does, part of a style, the stylistic approach and the direction we're going. It just so happens that it crashed during the making of this last video. And yes, I put the actual crash is a part of the video. In the video, you will see a beautiful shot of the St. Louis gondola, the Ferris wheel. And I was flying it back, trying to land it. I was flying it in wind. It was a windy environment, so I should not have been flying it in the wind. So I kind of lost control of it. Not only that, but it was very gray out. St. Louis can get very rainy, very gray. And as I was lowering it down, it was so gray out that I lost sight of it visually. I was just going by my controls and by my little video screen. But because I didn't know exactly where it was at with my eyes, I was backing it down and up, as you can see in the video. You see me backing away from the street, away from the buildings. I don't fly near people, just to let you know. I understand that these things happen, crashes happen, these things fall. So I'm very careful about making sure there's not people around when I'm flying my drone to get shots. I do it in an open area. In this case, I was in an open parking lot. But anyways, I backed it right into a massive overhang that hangs over the parking lot for Union Station. It hit it, and it came crashing straight down to the ground, and it is dead. The drone is dead. That being said, it was very sad, a very sad moment for me, because it's something that I look forward to using. And so what I am doing right now, for those of you who are watching and for those of you who are going to watch, is I am setting up a drone fund me that is specifically aimed at replacing this drone. Now, I want to tell you why this is so important, and also why I'm just not going and dropping my money and spending another chunk of change on this drone. I did purchase that last drone, and this one that crashed, I had it for a year, got very comfortable with it. I'm getting ready to go back. This is important. I want you all to listen because I need your prayers through all this as well. But I'm getting ready to go back to California over the holidays. Nervous about it because, as most of you know, I left California to get away from particular narcissistic individuals, traumatic experiences that forever changed my life and actually birthed the Royal We out of the traumatic experience. And I straight up ran from California in a way, moved on. And because of the nature of the relationships, and it's not just me, other people are involved, I am going to be revisiting. And now I'm going to be doing my best to not be involved and not engage. However, I'm still going, and it's going to be a very nervous experience for me, but I want to overcome the nervousness of going back to a place that I have no desire to go to. I have no desire to go back to California. I really don't. I enjoy my life in St. Louis. I love it here, and I've loved the move. It's been the best thing for me, but I'm going to be visiting. And anyways, what's this have to do with the drone? Well, I wanted to be able to obviously create content about my journey going back to California over the holidays. Why can't I just go out and rush and buy a drone right now? Well, because I obviously have a lot of hotel costs and all kinds of things going out to California for 2 weeks over the holidays. So I don't really have it in the budget to go and get a drone. But it's something that I looked forward to having as being able to be a part of the creative content part of the video that I want to make about going back to a place that I'm nervous of going back to be around certain individuals that I would rather not be around. And I just think driving across the states, having the drone would be an excellent way to share that journey with you. So for this reason, I am doing a drone fund me. The cost of the drone to replace the drone I had is a DJI mini drone. It's $500. That's what I paid for the last one I had as well. That I know how to fly. It's compact. You can look it up. It's the exact model is the DJI Mavic Mini, which is it's the same thing. It's basically the same drone I had. And that's it. I already know how to fly it. It's very compact. It's beautiful. Does beautiful work, and I would love to be able to have it with me. If I don't, it's not going to stop me from making the video as I go to California. But if I have it, just know that it would increase the overall content creativeness and be able to share more of the journey from the sky of traveling across the states, going into California, and who knows, maybe I'll get real high up in there in California and y'all can see what modern day California looks like, even though I know it's nothing special. So that's that. That's the drone fund me. Where can you donate? PayPal, or you can donate on Patreon. Again, the goal is $500, and that's what we're trying to do. That's why I'm putting that out there. Thank you all so much for listening to me. I cried when I crashed it. I truly did. It was a very, very difficult thing to do. Now, let's go ahead and get into tonight's conversation. And crashing the drone was not good. It's very, very, very sad. So let's get into tonight's conversation. We're going to be talking about Thanksgiving. And I don't know if this is something that that any of you have experienced, but holidays have changed for me dramatically coming out of narcissistic abuse. Something happened, that the whole complete wake-up call, this idea that people are inherently selfish, not inherently good, that when you talk about narcissistic abuse, and this can be families, your coworkers and boyfriends, girlfriends, spouses, whomever, parents in a lot of our cases. And narcissistic abuse has caused me to reflect back on my entire life, ever since I was raised as just a little one, and my parents, and how my parents really are, how they treated one another, how they treated us. And in all of this, you have what the purpose of holidays was really for. I think that at some point I grew into this comfort of understanding and believing that holidays is an opportunity for people to come together and have love for one another and this and that. After all, that's what's marketed to us. And we're always told about Thanksgiving. And again, I'm going to try my best to stay away from Christmas because we're not there yet. That's still a month away. That's so I don't want to deal with that. I've got a whole nother thing about Christmas coming up. But right now, Thanksgiving, a time to be thankful for friends, for family, be thankful for that. But when you stop to think about it and you open your eyes to some of the stuff, a lot of the abuse you've experienced, it's really hard to be thankful. And you see it in a completely different light. You see it more as an obligation that you had to do. You had to be pulled to this house. You had to go to this house. Don't let grandma down. Your Aunt Tilda, or Aunt and Uncle John, whoever, they've made their best, fruit salad mix, and everybody's got to come and have it. And it just became a time where people come together, but at the same time, a time where people show off their recipes, this and that. And if you were the unlucky black sheep or the unfortunate black sheep, it was also just another night of being grilled, criticized, having people talk behind your back. Oh, but you still have to be there and enjoy the food, even though maybe nobody ate the food that you brought, right? And so it makes it very difficult. And when you separate yourself for the first time, you go no contact, and you're able to digest all of this about Thanksgiving and what a sham the whole thing was. What a waste of time. I mean, and you ate turkey and stuff, and you maybe didn't even like it. I mean, maybe you had fun, maybe you didn't, but still, it's like, what was I doing all that time around people, and they didn't really even care. It wasn't about really coming together because they cared. It was coming together so they can show off some recipe or, laugh at the same scapegoat they've always laughed at and still act like bullies and jerks and sitting down to people and it's so-called family. And it created an environment where you almost feel like you have to go. I have to go. It's Thanksgiving. I have to go. I have to. It's Thanksgiving. And then you start looking into things like, well, Thanksgiving, what is Thanksgiving? And you start to look up stuff. And like I did, I started to look this stuff up. Thanksgiving is a national holiday. We all know that. But you start to look at the origins of Thanksgiving and what we've been taught about it. And there's so many mismatched stories. I was raised to believe that it had something to do with pilgrims and Indians. Pilgrims landed on the Mayflower and the Santa Marina or whatever boats. I don't even know if any of that's true anymore, right? And they get off and they met the Indians and said, hey, well, we brought you turkeys and let's have a feast. And, you come to find out that's not at all what happened. There's so many different stories. Here's just a couple of stories I read about Thanksgiving. The holiday wasn't made official until 1863. This is when Thanksgiving was official. And it actually had more to do with President Abraham Lincoln, who declared it as a kind of thank you for the Civil War victories in certain areas, Vicksburg and Gettysburg. And so it was kind of a declaration of a successful war. We're celebrating that. Doesn't really sound like that's a long ways away from the story of arriving and giving Indians turkeys. You know what I'm saying? And that's just one. And then there's other ones. There's other opposing views as to other even darker stuff about Thanksgiving. The other one was that Thanksgiving stemmed from a certain massacre of Pequot, of a certain Indian group, actually, in 1637. And now it ends up that it's true that Thanksgiving was a noted holiday in certain areas after the fact. After that, there was this war that broke out, and there was a massacre of a bunch of Pequot people. They had Thanksgiving after that, but they don't really know if it's directly linked to it. But in either way, nobody can really even come to an agreement and an understanding. Well, what is Thanksgiving for? What happened? Why is it there? But one thing's for certain: the general thing is that Thanksgiving came as a celebration, as a victory of something, more than it was oh my gosh, beautiful people, let's get together and share turkeys. And that's the other thing too. There's no indication that it ever had anything to do with turkey. You know what I mean? There's other stories that say Thanksgiving had to do with the first harvest. It's a celebration in religious beliefs to celebrate the first harvest of crops and this and that. They'd gather and they'd have a big feast and to honor God for the first bit of harvest. And so that was Thanksgiving. So as you can see, there's all these different stories, and you look into it and you realize ultimately at the end of the day, you don't know what you're honoring. People never really know what they're honoring when you do these things. So you're going around spending time with people who you really don't know if they like you. You don't necessarily like them. They're narcissistic in nature, and they always have a scapegoat they're talking about, but they have a fantastic, dish of cheese potatoes, and you're sitting with these people having your Thanksgiving feast with them. Eating with them and whatnot. And then some of these people you never talk to for the rest of the year. And And this was my story growing up. Really, it was, and uh, I just grew comfortable with that. But at some point, it shifted. Right before narcissistic abuse, I really enjoyed these holidays. I loved them. I couldn't wait to get together with people. After I experienced the final bit of narcissistic abuse that I did, it really changed that whole thing upside down. I went into a deep funk. I've been in it. I'm just being honest with you for the past 3 years, where I really started. I couldn't care less about Thanksgiving as a holiday. I couldn't care less. Dare I say, I'm going to go there. I couldn't care less about Christmas. It just lost its meaning to me. And this is something that I have been really, I'm still working on. And this is the video that I want to put out for Thanksgiving this week is going to talk about this as my journey working on this. During Christmas, going to California is also going to be another opportunity to kind of filter through what's happened and the changes that I've experienced as a result of narcissistic abuse. But really, over the past few years, I just lost all the desire. I didn't want to. I felt better being home by myself than the thought of going and being around people, giant families and people, and you know what I mean? And having turkey and stuff. It just seemed more uncomfortable for me than anything else. And it's been a very difficult challenge for me, just being honest with you. And again, I didn't realize that I struggled with this stuff until after narcissistic abuse. Once I realized that people who are supposed to love you can have so much hatred towards you, it really just twisted up my views of holidays. It really did. And it caused them to suffer, right? And it grew in me this desire to not really care. Certain family members want people to come over. I mean, I may go, I may not. But I just stopped, it stopped becoming important. All right? Just being honest about that. What is, and I'm interested to hear a lot of what you all have to say about this. So the phone line will be open, and I'm looking forward to what it is that you have to say about holidays. How has the holidays changed for you since your experience with narcissistic abuse? Has it changed the dynamic? Has it sucked the air out of some of the meaning of these gatherings and what it's for? Has it had no change at all? You still love them. I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoy some of the aspects of these holidays. I like the fact that I get time off work, a week, 2 weeks. You know, I like all the pretty lights. I like the festivities. I like some of the celebration aspects. I'm not exactly sure I completely there seems to be a push with all of this holiday stuff. The push is to buy more. There's such an effort, and I truly believe that's a lot of what these commercialized holidays. That's really the purpose. These when they become so commercialized, like Thanksgiving, like Christmas, they're more commercial than anything else. It's Black Friday deals, super deals. Get the gift he's always wanted. Get the gift she's always wanted. The reality is that's always in your face because it's just an economic move. It's Christmas time. A lot of businesses make the most money they'll ever make all year during this time. And so when it comes down to it, what triumphs over people's ideas of is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Who cares about getting together? It's just all about buying stuff, right? But what they do is play on people's emotions. This is why you have really heartfelt commercials of a little child giving a grandparent this amazing gift, and there's tears in the commercial, and it's because if they can pull those emotional strings, and what do narcissists do? Narcissists live to conquer people's emotions, right? And if they pull your emotional strings, then chances are you're going to go and find this gift to buy, and you're hoping that you're going to see that the tears fall from the person's face, and it never happens in real life. It just doesn't work like that. So this is it, and maybe this is also part of being able to detach from an emotional mindset as well. So having a different view of holidays, having a different view of Thanksgiving and of Christmas may come with that split from emotional-based thinking. Narcissistic abuse knocks the emotional-based thinking right out of you. It should. If it doesn't, then you're going to be in for more of it, right? And then you start to use more wisdom to lead your life. And what's wisdom? Wisdom is your knowledge, your experiences, and your understanding of your knowledge and experiences. This is what produces wisdom. And it's wisdom that has you looking at these things differently. I don't know if I want to go and be with those people. Yeah, I know it's great Aunt Tilly, but yeah, my experience says that the people there don't have the best intentions. So what you have to do is find different ways and different reasons to go. This is the twist. This is where it changes. This is where you stop doing things. And this is the goal, my goal for Thanksgiving this year and also for Christmas is no longer going just to be a spectator, no longer going just to be somebody who's invited, but going because I'm leading in a way that I want to do it. So, for example, for Thanksgiving, because we're not even at Christmas yet, but at Thanksgiving, I want to make plans that's going to be accommodating for me, my family, and to see if anybody else is involved. And since I understand narcissistic abuse and what to stay away from and people to stay away from, I simply stay away from that. Something very difficult to do when you're constantly in a place where you're being the one that's invited out. And this was our life, And again, this comes from lack of separating from family members and this and that. You're constantly feeling like you're pulled around, going to this person's house, going to mom's house, going to dad's house, going to grandparents' house. Why? Well, because that's just what you do, because that's what we've always done. Yeah, but grandma and grandpa, mom and dad, they talk a bunch of crap and they really are narcissistic, and I don't want to be there. And brother and sister and Sally and cousins, they're mean, and it doesn't matter. You have to go because that's what's always been done. So the transition from that life, from that way of living, that emotionally just being dragged around to, wait, no. It's my life. I'm in charge. I'm going to do Thanksgiving this way, and you all are welcome to join, and you will experience nothing but love if you do it with me. I know what it's like going with you guys. I'm not dealing with that garbage. And we got our first call from Nebraska, and I'm guessing that means someone is saying, Kev, you are talking way too much, man. Time to pipe down and take a phone call. You're live on the Royal We. Thank you for calling. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're live.
Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for your work, your advice, your wisdom is just amazingly accurate. And I hope people continue to find you and support you.
Thank you.
And sign up for as much as they can sign up for. I just yesterday made a donation to your drone fund.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
For those that don't know what happened, he crashed and burned on his drone.
You watched it on the video.
I did. He looked so sad. I just thought, I got to send this boy some money.
You know what? I didn't even, you have no idea. It literally, if you notice also, this is for those of you who are watching, you'll notice a break in the continuity of the video. It was more daylight out when I was flying the drone, and then when I was in the Ferris wheel, it was dark and nighttime, and that's because there was a long break of solitude I had to take as I was trying to piece back together and find any sign of life in the drone. I did try to put some of the pieces back on. I tried to fly it, and it was just not happening. And I thought about giving up. I thought about quitting. I'm like, I got to go home. Because I wasn't even done. I wanted to get more shots with the drone. And I just, no, I said, no, I'm going to finish this video. I'm going to do it without him. Just going to keep going. So, but I'm glad that I'm so thankful for you, for your generous offer. And yeah, so for those of you who don't know, which by the way, I have $100 total based on the generous donation. So really, I know I said it's 500. I already have 100. So $400 more to get to get it taken care of before going to California. So thank you for your generous donation. That is going towards it. And
well, my pleasure.
Appreciate that.
And I want to I want to encourage other people to contribute what they can, because I tell you, your work is just amazing.
Thank you.
And it has been so helpful. I just wanted to share from the holiday standpoint.
Yes.
I just came out of a narcissistic relationship where I had to evict my ex-fiance out of my home because it got that bad. And she just turned around and just went to town with the negativity. Long story short, cost me a very good job because I was being accused of things that there were no proof of. She went through the court system and got protection orders, and there was no validity to that. I'd never, of course, laid hands on her, but she got a judge that bought off on all of that. Mm-hmm. So it is a very, very dangerous situation. In many ways.
Right.
But with that being said, and as we roll into the holidays, I want to echo what you were saying about, and I'm paraphrasing you, basically finding something to be thankful for. And I'm blessed with the fact that I've got a beautiful, healthy, happy 2-year-old granddaughter. And
there you go.
There
you go. That's it.
And, I didn't get beaten by the narcissist. I'm back up, and I will not be a victim. And
No, and that's it. And what you found is going back and taking your power, taking your control back over the holidays, making it meaningful, but for you, right? And that's the whole point of this. I believe we have made holidays meaningful because of other people, and we have bought into other people's meaning of holidays, right?
Exactly.
And so for the first time, and it can drain you, and when you experience narcissistic abuse, you get out of the situation, suddenly you're like, what? What in the world was I celebrating? It was terrible, until you're able to say, you know what? I have a reason now to celebrate, whether that's just your grandchild, or if it's just your children, your little children. You don't need to be dragged around to all of the siblings and aunts and uncles' houses. You don't have to do all that. You can just go and just get a burger, with your grandchild. Happy Thanksgiving, this is and make it your own. And
well,
I've developed this saying: I would rather be surrounded by I'd rather just be one other person with me who I know is genuine, full of love and joy, than to be surrounded by a household full of people who have no idea what their real thoughts and intentions are.
Well, and that's exactly right. And it's funny you should say that, because I was going to basically say the biggest thing I want to be able to do is grab that little space and say, I love you. And just have that kind of time to say, I love you, and have that kind of purity be heard.
Right.
None of the ugliness of, her mother is a narcissist, and that's heartbreaking, because that's my child, but I'm going to focus on what I can control, and what I can't control. And if somebody wants to be a narcissist, I got to let them go.
Yes.
And you've talked about it. And for those that are on the fence, with all due respect, you need to listen to what he's saying, because there is going to be the time you may have to let somebody go. Right. And that's not always very easy.
Not at all.
And I applaud you being able to do that with, it's obviously your in-laws, and God bless you and your wife for being able to work that as a team and get through that. And you got children involved, so that's not easy.
No, it's not, and which makes it, which brings up, and this is why I mentioned it, and getting ready to go on this trip, going back to California, and it's going to be an experience. There's nerves, and I'm working through that view of it, that twist of mindset. I'm not going there for something. Those days are done. There's nothing that I can get. You follow me on this? I'm specifically and purposefully going just out of a place of giving, of moving, of conquering, right? In that way. Not expecting anything in return. Nothing.
Sure.
Right? And so with this change, now all of a sudden, whatever what happens, right? But it's just that. But obviously there's still there's barriers that have to break down. This is why it's going to make this trip for me so important, and I'm anxious to share this trip with people when it gets there this holiday season. But I'm glad that you understand exactly where I'm at with this, and it resonates with you.
Well, it does, and be anxious to hear how that works out for you. And like I say, for anyone else that's listening, if you're having a rough time, pay attention to what Kevin's sharing. He's an amazing young man, and don't hesitate to reach out for help, because this can be potentially worst case scenario. This could be a situation that someone chooses to end their life over, and that would be extremely sad. So stay strong, keep fighting, keep going forward. And I personally believe in the old adage, the only way you're going to stop me is to kill me. And, I just won't be a victim to something like this.
Right.
So, again, best wishes for the holidays, and I just wanted to sneak in and tell you hello.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your call. I really do.
All right, sir. Take care.
You too. Have a great night.
All right, thanks. You too. Bye.
Bye. All right. Thank you for that, caller. And I'm anxious to hear what anybody else has to say also about that, what the plan, as far as holidays, how the topic, in case anybody is new or just jumped on the topic that we're talking about, is holidays, how the holidays have changed for you coming out of narcissistic abuse. How has it affected your view of it? Coming out of a situation where you have always gone and been a part of these people's lives because they invited you, because you felt you had to go, because you were led to believe that that's what love is, that's what caring is, on and on and on, and you gave and you gave and you gave. And then your eyes are open because of narcissistic abuse. There's a situation where now your worldview is different. Your view of people's hearts are different. People's motives, people's intentions, things of this nature. And you're caught in this place of, well, I really don't want to be involved, even if that means I don't really celebrate Thanksgiving. And then you can start to go down that path of, well, why are we even celebrating Thanksgiving? What is it? Is it really a time to be thankful for something, or is it a celebration that our ancestral people started for some other reasons? And then, like I said, when you look into this stuff, you can see that none of it really adds up as far as the story that we were always told about Thanksgiving. So bottom line, what we have here now is a national holiday that's recognized by every company. We have time off of work. We get to leave work early and have a vacation. That's all fantastic. No, we're not going to complain about that. But what is it really all about? And, what are we getting together for? And I believe this really plays a part of it plays into the hands of narcissism, really. Because when you start to question these, when you start to dig deeper and get involved in what is all this about, why are we going? Why do we always go to this person's home? Why do we always celebrate it in this fashion? Why is there always a turkey involved? Why, you start to look like the oddball out. You start to become the target. You start to become that, well, don't ask questions. This is just how we do it. And since we're the ones who are in control, we are the hierarchy in the hierarchy. Therefore, you come over to our house and have turkey, right? And it could be it could be an eye-opening experience. And like I shared, you can also reach a point. I reached a point where I just came to this place where I'm like, I would rather just stay and not be involved, not go, than to be in a room of people where there's tensions, there's animosities, because it just doesn't make sense. Why Why go and spend time in these places with tensions and animosities when there's so many other things that you could be doing with your time, helping people, loving people, um, and not necessarily being devoted to people who don't have your best interests in mind, right? Ultimately, if you want to be thankful for something, be thankful for people who also have your best interests in mind, you know. And that's all I have to say about that. And so I want to thank you all for being here. And I saw that there was a little bit of a mix-up. I left the chat up, and I apologize. And I definitely turned the chat off of the feed. We got a call from Texas. You're live on the Royal We.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Kevin.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there.
Good. Good.
I just wanted to call in because I know that there are other people who are going through my situation, and I wanted to share that I'm spending my holidays alone, like I do every year, and my family has been posting pictures on Facebook of them all together as this big happy family, and of course I'm excluded as usual.
But let me ask you a question. Is your family a big happy family, or is that just the front? Is that the front that they put on their pictures on Facebook? I mean, here's the deal. You know what it's really like with them on a daily basis, and when you're around them. And does what they post really represent who they are?
Well, as a big family, they do fight amongst themselves. Now, individually, as far as my cousins and their families, their wives and their children, I think that they are happy. But as far as my dad and his brother and sister, there's some bickering going on there sometimes between them. And I had some difficulties with them back a few months ago, and it was so traumatic because of the gaslighting and the invalidation and the refusal to accept responsibility for what they had done to me. I got really, really sick, and I ended up in the emergency room with life-threatening high blood pressure. And I just realized, that I've got to be done. I just have to get out of this once and for all.
Yeah.
And so now they're all united, and I'm the bad guy. And of course, it's just it just is what it is. And I just want people to know that are going through this. You're not alone, and there's so many of us who are hurting during the holidays. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I spent the past 3 Thanksgivings. Well, I've been in St. Louis now for 2 years. So the past 2 Thanksgivings and Christmases were very small. Just me, my kids, my immediate family here. That's it, right? Away from all of the hustle and the bustle and the demands and the commands and the what's the right word? Expectations, right?
Yes.
Because that's really what, if you're not careful, holidays become about. It's about the expectations, right? Well, it's Thanksgiving, so you should be here. If you're not, you're a bad person, or what's up, And so being away was almost a break from it. Being alone, being more isolated, it's kind of a break from all of the expectations, and just being able to kind of take a breath and say, wow, okay. It's the isolation. There's something great about it. And the problem that I experienced in that is that I grew so comfortable with that isolation, like I was sharing earlier, I lost desire to really celebrate Thanksgiving. I lost the desire to really celebrate Christmas. I mean, there's things about that are fun, and don't get me wrong, you can have fun, and there's festivities and lights and stuff like that, but a lot of what I thought it was growing up, that wind just got kind of punched out of me. Narcissistic abuse really just changed my view of it, of some of the stuff, and And so I've had to, over the past couple of years, regain a different type of confidence going forward as far as holidays are concerned, as far as Thanksgiving is concerned. It's no longer what I thought it was as I was growing up. Now I have the role, being a dad, being a person. I have the role of turning it into something else, making it something else, and but it's been a difficult journey because there's a lot of pain associated with the things that I've seen and witnessed over the holidays. I mean, and listen, as far as the royal we goes, I have no problem in coming clean and sharing with you a lot of why I'm even here. And it's not just simply what took place with in-laws or stuff. It's not about that. I can go back to my childhood. And one thing that's been on my heart as in my childhood is I've witnessed people in the family that I thought was loving and looked up to. I witnessed things that went on between them and the things that were said and the demeaning, devaluing comments and that were breaking other people down. And it breaks my heart. I have such a burning desire. As a matter of fact, I've been thinking about this, and I'm going to do this. There's a particular member of the family, much older than me now, but when I was younger, he wasn't that old. And I remember being in the room. I was probably in high school, junior high, but I remember being in the room surrounded by my family, by people in my family who talked about this person nonstop and how much they couldn't stand him. And he was married to another one of my second cousins. And they made a big deal out of it. And I was so young. I was in junior high. I didn't know how to stand up. And he was there. God bless him. He was there. He went to the family functions, walking into this crazy storm of hatred that I remember that now I can look back and go, oh my gosh, this is what it was. I can't believe it. This is my family. This is people that I always viewed as great and loving. They treated me great, yeah. But they were relentless in their cruelty to this particular individual. And I realize now that this black sheep idea, this narcissistic abuse idea that somebody gets attacked, somebody takes the fall. I saw it happen. And it's been on my heart to call this person and be able to say, you don't really know me. I was just a kid, but I know you. I remember you. And I remember how you were a part of our family functions and the things that were said about you. And I know you were uncomfortable. I know it hurts you. I know that because after a while they stopped coming around. And then, of course, I remember all the stuff that was being said about him not coming around. And I'm like, man, I've been put into a situation where I feel your pain. And I want to, on behalf of all the family that did that, I want to apologize to you. Even though it may not mean anything and nothing bad came from me, but just on behalf of the people that I was with, I feel that's something that could, I don't know. But this is the type of stuff I think about now. When I look back and I think about holidays. It's you know what I mean? And so it's rough.
I do. It's rough. My whole purpose for calling mainly was just to let people know that they're not alone.
Right.
And that, they're not forgotten and that there are so many of us who are going through this trauma. Because,
yes.
What else can you call it? It is a trauma.
Right.
So I appreciate you taking my call, Kevin.
Well, thank you for calling. I appreciate your call. Thank you so much.
Okay, good night.
Good night. All right. Thank you so much for that call, and it's good to know that you're definitely not alone. The phone line is open. You're not alone. If you are struggling with what you're doing around the holidays right now, you're definitely not alone. If you're struggling with feeling like you don't want to do anything, you just want to be by yourself, know that you're not alone. If you feel like you're just tired of being around the same environments, doing the same things that you've always done, you're not alone. If you are by yourself and you're struggling with just being by yourself, you're not alone in that either, right? And So it's important to know that, and very thankful for this community. And if there are any more phone calls to call and talk about this topic, we will definitely take your telephone call. If not, we will wrap this up and be ready this week for a video. I'm going to try my best to upload a video specifically talking about this challenge of Thanksgiving this week, and look forward to working on that, try to get that up this week. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you for everybody who has been a part of the Royal We Live. Is it still on? I don't see any more comments right now. I'm going to go ahead and post something. Hi. And I'm not sure if anybody else is commenting or not. God bless. Okay. There's somebody still there. That's good to know. I did enjoy making this last video. I know that part of it is holidays. There's D. Part of this last video that I uploaded, the main reason behind the Facebook, why it was so important to make a video about disconnecting from Facebook, and it's part of this whole idea, disconnecting. I put a word in there that I actually believe triggered somebody. I saw a comment, and it's the word participate. All right, participate. We need to understand to some extent that when it comes to narcissistic abuse, what I said in the video, I meant it, right? And this is that narcissistic abuse doesn't exist by itself. It requires narcissism, but also participation. So for those of you who just heard the story of when I was a lot younger, I witnessed a guy who was being abused and mocked and just verbally kind of criticized by people who I looked up to, siblings of mine. And I was just too young to know what was really going on. I didn't know anything about narcissistic abuse, but I knew it wasn't right. And I didn't understand why they picked this particular person out and gave him so much of a hard time. I didn't get it. Now I understand it because I understand the idea and the concept of narcissistic abuse, hierarchies of people who literally are really struggling with their own self-confidence. So hierarchies are created where people have to push others down in order to feel good about themselves. And I didn't know about that back then. But one of the things is that as long as he kept showing up, it kept happening. But as they distanced themselves, it went away. Okay. So there's this idea of participation. I talked about this in the Facebook video. I know that people don't like that. But here's what participation means. This is what participate is. Participation is a person who takes part in something, obviously. That's just what it is. That's the definition of it. Okay? It's a person who takes part in something. And I know we often like to say, well, we don't take part in narcissistic abuse. Well, if you are connected to narcissistic bullying individuals in any way, engaging with them, having dialogue, going back and forth, talking about stuff, you're participating with them. Okay? You have to understand that. So does this mean you can't have any type of dealing with these people at all? Ever? Well, no, not necessarily. You can still deal with narcissistic individuals. You can deal with bullies so long as you change the participation. Again, it's all about going back into these situations in need of absolutely nothing. You don't need them to like you. You don't need them to be your friend. You don't need them to be anything for you, to you. You don't need their insight, and you don't need their advice. And when you get to this point, you automatically don't need their criticism, and you're able to just say, okay, you go be you, and that's it. Walk away. That's a lack of participation. Without participation, narcissistic abuse doesn't exist. All right. Now, if you're being held down and violated physically, that's a different story. It's assault. Police are involved. People go to jail. End of story. Right. But we're talking about the engagement, bickering. You called me this, and how dare you, and how can you say this about me, and all this stuff. This is participation. And if you do not participate, if you walk away, then you don't have to worry about the narcissistic abuse part. So with that, I am going to go ahead and sign off. I want to thank all of you for being a part of tonight's Royal We. Thank you for the moderators. Thank you for everything that you have done. I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there one more time for those of you who were late and did not get on early enough to find out. I am starting a drone fund me, and this is after crashing the drone that I have learned to fly and navigate very well over the past year, and I have been implementing it creatively into the Royal We videos. And the last video I uploaded, you can actually see the moment where the drone crashed, and it was very sad. I almost walked away from finishing the video. I was devastated. It's not good watching something that you really have become fond of and started to enjoy just break to pieces in your hand. And I am going on a trip to California over the holidays, which is why I'm not rushing out to buy one on my own right now. But I would like to take a drone with me during the holidays to create content about the journey I'm going to be taking and how I'm going to experience it. And I think it'd be a great thing to have the drone as part of just creative content to really share the experience of driving from Missouri to California. And so that's what I'm putting out there, the Drone Fund Me. I already have $100. Thank you to the generous support for those of you who have supported and are going for this with me to replace the drone. The goal is $500, so I need $400 more dollars. You can donate if you are willing. You can donate through PayPal, also through Patreon. Both of those can be accessed through jointheroyalwe.com, the website. You can also find the link to PayPal on the homepage of the Royal We, the main Royal We channel. But www.jointheroyalwe.com, and also they posted it in the chat here as well. And with that, and like I said, it's not a deal breaker. If I don't get enough raised to get the drone, I will still share the journey with all of you, obviously. This is just when you have a drone, it is an icing on the cake, but it's something that I really loved. It really helps create content. It really helps to just be creative. I already miss it. I wanted to go out in the afternoon and fly it, and I realized I can't. I don't have it anymore. It's just one of those things where it's just all of a sudden, wow, it's not there anymore. That is so not cool. But with that, I will go ahead and sign out. Thank you all for being a part of the Royal We tonight, and we'll be back next Monday night, 9:00 p.m. Central Time, right here on the Royal We Live. And be sure to subscribe to not only this channel, but also the Royal We Organic channel for more videos. I'm going to be uploading a video on Thanksgiving this week, talking about what we talked about on a personal level tonight. And with that, have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Music for Tanya and for D Doll, if I can get it fired up here. And, well, no, maybe not. Music machine is shut down because we've gone over time. All right, good night, everybody. Have a great night, and we will see you next Monday night right here on the Royal We Live. Doot 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 doot.